Welcome in to the CHGO Blackhawks Postgame Show. It's Greg Boyson. It's Mario Tirabassi. Jay Zawoski sitting this one out. Blackhawks lose 3-1 at the Winnipeg Jets, but it's one of those games that we've talked about where not a whole lot to be upset about or disappointed in. It was a good effort by the team, just playing a better team on their home ice. And, their goalie, Connor Hellebuyck, one of the best in the game.
Hard to beat.
Yeah, he is. Blackhawks outshot 28-21. Arvid Soderblom was fine. The second goal was not a great one, but otherwise, he kept them in the game. So kind of one of those games where you're like, yeah, they lost a game they probably, against a better team, but it's not because they phoned it in.
Yeah, I think in games like this one where it was pretty low event through the first two periods, you really have to make the most of the opportunities that you do create and the chances that you do get in the offensive zone. And I think tonight's game, I feel like they were able to create a decent amount of opportunities. It's just the execution wasn't there. There were a number of 2-on-1 and 3-on-2 chances that primarily the top line was getting with Bedard and Khrushchev and Beauvillier, who had a good first game with the Blackhawks. But there were just a number of times where it was just like either the pass was just too off the mark to get a good shot off. Or the Jets were able to close gaps. Again, it's hard to beat a goaltender like Connor Hellebuyck for a ton of goals in a game. So when you do get those few and far between chances, you got to make the most of them. As far as the effort level, I think they matched what Winnipeg was doing. It's just sometimes you have an elite goaltender with a team that's better than you, and it's hard to overcome that. And I think, the 3-1 final score, you got a goal with some birthday luck for Morgan Barron on a shot that you'd really like to see Arvid Soderblom make that save. And then you get a goal from Cole Perfetti, who we gave him the jinx or the blessing in the pregame show.
He made us look smart.
Yeah, that he's been having a good season, and he makes as Darren Pang said described it on the broadcast, a fadeaway tip on a shot that was going a couple feet wide, and he makes gets enough of the stick on it, and Soderblom had no chance on that deflection. So, one you want to get back, and one you really had no chance of saving since it was on target. It's the difference in the game.
Yeah, the scoring started with the Blackhawks.
Started great. Started perfect in the storyline department.
Connor Bedard put the Blackhawks up 1-0, 4:39 into the first period. And I quickly tweeted out, "Take that, Winnipeg media!"
Take that.
It was like,
does anybody say that in this city?
We do. It was Bedard. He intercepted a pass up at the high, just inside the blue line, middle of the ice, high point. Got it to Khrushchev, and then just circled around, got to the left dot. Mm-hmm. The puck finds him there, slams it home. 1-0.
Good feelings.
He extends his point road streak to 9 games or 8 games.
8 games.
8 games. Sorry, 8 games.
A Blackhawks record.
A Blackhawks record beating for rookies. Players 18 years old and younger.
Not rookies, 18-year-olds or younger.
But most players 18-year-old and younger are probably rookies. Eight straight road games for a point for Connor Bedard. That is now second all-time, only behind Nathan McKinnon. Has an 18-year-old, had points in 16 straight road games during the 2013-14 season, so still a ways to go.
That is impressive.
But he passed. He has now longer point streaks than Sidney Crosby, Steve Yzerman, and Sylvain Turgeon.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you're doing something where you jump ahead of Sidney Crosby and Steve Yzerman on a list. That's quite the accomplishment.
Yeah.
So nicely done, Connor Bedard. Let's see if he gets it up to 9 tomorrow against Minnesota. That'd be fun. But a great play by Bedard. Showed his instincts by intercepting the pass, getting that decisive play. Got the puck, boom, off my stick, and then circles around to make sure he gets in a scoring position. And it was a great play. Kurashev got the only assist on that play. About 6 minutes later, the Jets get a power play on 3. I'm just going to say it. Horse shit hooking calls against the Blackhawks today.
Some soft calls.
Just
both ways.
Anytime the Blackhawks got their stick above the waist, they were called for hooking today.
Yeah.
None of those calls really, I mean, I think it was this one was probably the one.
This one was the one that I think you get
stick in the hands.
Yeah,
and anytime you do that, you're going to go.
You have the most. It's the sturdiest call you could make.
It was Connor Murphy who they actually called him for interference and not hooking.
This was okay.
Well, on the game sheet it's called interference, but not great hooking calls today. But on this power play, Gabe Vilardi, who's recently returned from injury, he was one of the big returns in the Dubois trade over the summer from the Kings. He stick handles right past Alex Vlasic, who had a good game, but just those are the type of plays that are going to happen. And then Mark Scheifele is wide open in the slot, one-timer. I mean, too easy.
It's not somebody you want to leave open for a one-timer.
So good play by the Jets. 1-1 after one. Only goal of the second period was that Morgan Barron play we talked about. Starts with Connor Murphy falling down on the rush just outside the blue line.
That doesn't help.
Anthony Beauvillier does a nice job to get over there, but just not quick enough to prevent the shot. And it's a low shot right between the legs of Arvid Soderblom. Got to stop that one.
Got to stop that one.
Yeah. Straight on, no deflection, no screen, right between the legs. You want to be an NHL starter. Those are the saves you have to come up with.
Mm-hmm. And we said that in the pregame, is like make the saves that are asked of you, and maybe get one or two that you go above and beyond and you make a difference in the game. Yeah, that's the one that's one that's asked of you, asked of most NHL goaltenders. So that was a tough one that you're just like, ugh.
Even Jay
make that stop, and this is a different game.
Yeah, even Jay piped up. He was obviously watching the game.
He texted us.
He was in our Slack chat saying, crying out loud, you got to make that save.
Yeah,
we were all thinking that. And then third period, midway through, the final nail in the coffin, that Cole Perfetti redirect we talked about, started by losing a defensive zone draw. Mm-hmm. And then defenseman Dylan Sandberg gets a shot. Looks like it's probably going to go 2-3 feet wide, but Perfetti gets his stick. And
stick tip.
You can't. So 2 out of the 3 goals on Soderblom, you can't hang on him.
Hard to, yeah.
Scheifele left wide open on a power play in the slot. He's going to score that 9 out of 10 times.
Yeah. And
then the redirect, you can't. So the only one you really hang on him is that second period goal to Barron. But 25 saves on the day for Soderblom. One big save by Nikita Zaitsev.
Yeah. I mean, for a guy that we have seen very little of this season, we talked about him in the pregame a lot because he was coming into the lineup for the first time in a while, alongside Jared Tenorti, who was also coming into the lineup after an injury. Wyatt Kaiser and Isaac Phillips sent down in their places. So, I did not expect Zaitsev to end up playing the amount that he did, but I think he earned it with the way that he was playing. He was using his body a lot, blocked a ton of shots, had some physical play, and then saves a goal on the goal line that kept the Blackhawks in the game at that point. I think it was still 2-1 at that point, or was it 3-1?
I believe it was 3-1 at that point.
Was it 3-1? All right. Well, would have saved the game from getting quote unquote out of hand. But yeah, I mean that's a play that keeps the spirits alive late in the game when you're chasing 2 goals. But he had a pretty good game. Like outside of the expectations, he had a pretty good game, and he's got to make the most of it. We were talking about it during the game. Like you're probably not going to get too many games with the Blackhawks this season, given the way that he's been used when everyone's been healthy and available. I mean, he's been a constant scratch, and I think if this is his opportunity to get a string of games together in the lineup, and he puts together efforts like this in those strings of games, he's going to do himself some favors of trying to maybe get to a team that's looking to be better than last place in the NHL. And try to get more ice time than he's been able to get this season. So a good effort from him. Appreciated that. Wasn't sure if it was a lineup decision or if it was just a circumstance of the flow of the game and the changing of the defensive pairings. But late in the game, him and Alex Vlasic were on the ice for an offensive zone start with about 4.5, 5 minutes to play. So I don't know if that was we're sitting Seth Jones to play Nikita Zaitsev, or if it was just a flow of the game thing. But I thought that was if that was a Luke decision, and that's a vote of confidence in the way that he was playing.
Yeah, I don't know. I have to go back and check. Were the Hawks just getting off a penalty kill there too?
Might have been.
So it might have been Seth needed a breather for killing off that penalty. So with Zaitsev out there, and why not? The final line on Zaitsev, 15:25 of ice time, and 2 shot attempts, 3 hits, 4 block shots. I mean, solid game.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this is a guy that this was only his 7th game of the season. And
this is game 22?
Yeah. So we haven't seen a lot of him. He played that Columbus game the night before Thanksgiving. That was the last time we saw him. So, and only 4 games he only played 3 games the month of November.
Mm-hmm.
So, not a lot of playing time for him. He did have that time where he took a few days away from the team for a personal matter, but good for him. I don't think you take him out of the lineup tomorrow.
No.
He was definitely effective. So ride it out. See what he can do in back-to-back games. I know you brought up Louis Crevier. You don't necessarily have to get him in there. I don't really think you do much of a lineup change tomorrow except for Mrazek in net. And then, I don't know, maybe you get Reese Johnson back in there. Mackenzie Entwistle was
it depends on if Beauvillier is able to play.
Well, that's true, too.
Travel with the team and play.
And we don't know if Gutman is okay to play. He's been banged up a little bit. So we'll see what happens tomorrow in Minnesota. Maybe you switch it up. It's 2 straight games with this forward combination, and you lost both of them. So maybe you mix it up a little bit. We'll see. Tom Quinn's asking about update on Gutman. They've been pretty vague with him.
Yeah.
I mean, he took part in the morning skate on Thursday.
Their last home game, he did
Tuesday.
He took the morning skate.
He took the morning skate and then was out, banged up.
And Entwistle was in the lineup.
And he's missed the last 2 games, so maybe he's good to go tomorrow. They haven't really given us – he's not on IR, and they really haven't given us a update, so maybe you get him in. If Beauvillier can't go because of the visa tomorrow, then I say, you put Gutman in there because he's gives you a little offensive upside there.
Yeah.
But we'll see what goes. We're keeping tabs to see if we're getting any post-game quotes from Winnipeg. Nothing yet so far. Mm-hmm. But we did have a super chat up there. Joey, can you put our
got a couple of super chats coming in
Let's go through those. Here we got Mr. Koala. This team is way more boring than last year's for $1.99. No, not really. You still got Connor Bedard, and he's kind of exciting. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
They're not as high energy as last year, but Bedard, Korchinski, they make things exciting.
Last year's team at this stage of the season, you had Taze, you had Kane, you had Domi, you had Athanasiou. You had Radish playing well.
Yeah.
You had some guys that were keeping things interesting, through the losses and stuff. But yeah, I'd say as far as the excitement, night in and night out. I think last year's team, I think because of the guys that they still had at this point of the year and the way that they were playing, I think that probably had some more excitement. Yes, you have Connor Bedard now. You have some overarching excitement about the development of the young players. But, to Mr. Koala's point, this was a game where, if it wasn't in the afternoon, if this was like a 6 o'clock start, I might have dozed off for
that has
for
a lot
little
to do
bit.
with
like
the Jets are a boring ass.
Yeah,
team
the Jets.
too.
The Jets were a good. They played a good shutdown game today.
Yeah.
They
the Jets make everything more boring.
Yeah, they made it difficult on the Blackhawks.
They're like the Nashville Predators of the North,
but a little bit better.
Right.
Yeah,
a little bit better.
But yeah, so I mean, as far as individual excitement, Bedard is much better than I'd say anybody that the Blackhawks had last season. But as far as stringing together games that you're like, you can get into, you can get excited about, I'd say last year's team at this point of the season was putting some more exciting efforts. And that's been a storyline that we've talked about with this team this season, is their efforts and the way that they're playing games. Today wasn't necessarily an effort thing; it was an execution thing. And games where the execution isn't there, it can get frustrating, and especially on a team that can pin you down and not let you do the things that you want to do offensively, like the Jets can. It gets boring.
Yep.
It gets boring getting pinned in your own zone.
And you're going to play the boring-ass Minnesota Wild tomorrow, so don't expect a lot of excitement.
New coach.
Yeah, the Mr. Excitement himself,
John Hines.
Yeah, great. Mr. Koala follows up with another $1.99 Super Chat. CHGO post games more exciting than the actual game. Well, that I will agree with.
100%.
Yes,
It's a good use of $4.
It's a low bar, but we'll do our best to jump over it.
It's a good use of $4 there by Mr.
Yes, we appreciate that. And then we have $4.99 gaming for veterans. I don't get why we start Soderblom over Mrazek against Winnipeg instead of the struggling Wild tomorrow. Please explain. Thanks, guys.
It would have been the third straight start for Mrazek.
Mrazek was coming off back-to-back games. He's been lousy when he starts consecutive games.
Yeah,
I pointed out in our last Hawks hits. So it would have been 3 games in a row for Mrazek. So give him an extra day. And then, the Winnipeg was struggling too. They had lost 3 in a row before coming in today.
Yeah, well, the Blackhawks
are
the
get-right team of the season.
Yeah, if something's going wrong for your team, if you're on a losing streak, if your power play is doing bad, if you have a star player who's on a pointless streak, and you got the Blackhawks coming to town, expect all of those problems to get fixed, because that's what opponents are doing to this team this year.
Yeah.
They had a game a couple of games ago where Hawks were on a 5-game losing streak, and
Columbus,
Columbus,
lost 9 in a row.
Lost 9 in a row. Beat the Blackhawks.
They didn't beat them. They
killed them.
Pantsed them.
So and then today, the Jets were on a little bit of a skid. In come the Blackhawks, and the losing streak is over. Minnesota, they just fired their coach. They've been on a skid this season. Here come the Blackhawks.
Here come the Blackhawks on back-to-backs.
The Tampa Bay Lightning are wishing that they could play the Blackhawks right now. So, I mean, it's tough because we did this last season. But, here we are again with the Blackhawks being, at the bottom of the league. And again, it's not unexpected. I just think, being at this point, beginning of December, looking back where we were, beginning of the year, in September, early October, I think the expectations were, this team isn't going to contend for anything, but I think we would have thought by the beginning of December we'd be in a little bit better spot than being tied for last and having to constantly hope that they have a good effort. So it's been a little bit of a struggle to get to this point.
We can get more into that about where they are now compared to where our expectations were the season.
Yeah.
Before that, we should pay some bills, and we can talk about all kinds of factors, but let's talk about the factors that are good for your appetite.
Yes. If you want to eat right this holiday season, I know it can be challenging. But Factor Meal Kits makes it easier. You might be looking for nutritious, convenient meals to keep you energized on jam-packed days throughout this holiday season. And Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal delivery service, can help fuel you up fast with breakfast, lunch, and dinner. With breakfasts, lunches, and dinners that are chef-prepared, dietitian-approved, ready to eat, and delivered straight to your door, you will save time, eat well, and stay on track with your healthy lifestyle while tracking all of your holiday to-dos. If you're too busy with holiday plans to cook and you want to make it easier on yourself to eat well, use Factor. You can skip the extra trip to the grocery store and the chopping and prepping and cleaning too, while you're getting the flavor and nutritional quality that you need. Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are ready in just 2 minutes. 1-2. So all you have to do is heat and enjoy. And if you're looking for special occasion meals during the holidays, you can level up with the Gourmet Plus options, prepared to perfection by chefs and ready to eat in record time. Enjoy premium ingredients like broccolini, leeks, truffle butter, and asparagus. Ooh, that sounds pretty good. With Factor, you can rest assured you're making a sustainable choice, and they offset 100% of their delivery emissions and source 100% renewable electricity for the production at their production sites and offices. And this November, get Factor and enjoy eating well. Hey, it's December. Get Factor and enjoy eating well without the hassle. Simply choose your meals and enjoy fresh, flavor-packed meals delivered to your door. Head to factormeals.com/CHGO Blackhawks. I'm sorry, CHGO Hawks 50. And use the code. We're going to restart. Head to factormeals.com/Blackhawks and use the code CHGO Hawks 50, and you're going to get 50% off of your order. Again, that's code CHGO Hawks 50. When you go to factormeals.com/Blackhawks, you're going to get 50% off. That's a good deal.
That is a good deal. Make sure you're sticking around CHGO Sports tonight, because the Bulls and the mighty Pelicans are tipping off.
Bull versus a Pelican, I'll pick the Bull.
In nature, yes. In basketball, I'm always picking against the Bulls because I don't think they're very good at their jobs. So in the NBA, just like in the NHL, the game can change in an instant, but no matter how the action unfolds, DraftKings Sportsbook has your back. This week, new customers can score $150 instantly in bonus bets.
Ew.
Just for betting $5 on basketball. That's not Milwaukee bucks. That's $5. Win or lose, you get an instant dub. Our guy Joey is manning the boards for us today, and he is our basketball expert. Congratulations to your Texas Longhorns, by the way.
Thank you.
They get to walk out of the Big 12 championship, the conference, as champions. They will never lose that title. They won't be beaten for it.
First
Pretty
ever
badass.
Big 12 championship game winner and last ever Big 12 championship game winner, correct?
What do you mean? For Texas?
Texas
no,
football.
it's their 4th Big 12 champions.
But they won the first ever one.
Oh, yeah.
And then now
yes,
they've
I
won
believe.
the last
But there's
ever
going to
one.
be
That's
another
called
one.
bookends.
There will be more, but there might as well not be.
Well, if Texas is not in it, you're not watching.
Correct.
Yeah. So you're our
Texas
basketball
is
guy.
last ever.
As we're talking about DraftKings and the NBA, if you were to be a betting man, what would you look for in tonight's Bulls Pelicans?
Yeah,
clash?
I'll tell you here. Patrick Williams he's been scoring at a high clip for comparatively what he's usually doing, and been in double figures, I think, all 3 of the last 3 games.
That's good.
So I'm looking, I think his line right now is over 11.5. I like it, even take an alt line and just go over 10, but no Zach LaVine tonight again, so I think Patrick Williams is going to stay aggressive. Also I like assist numbers on both Vucevic and Kobe White tonight. Kobe White over 4.5. Vucevic over 3.5. Both those, I think, comfortably hit in the last game without LaVine and DeRozan. DeRozan back tonight, but I think Bulls will maintain their similar style of play, and we will see. I always like to sprinkle something on the first basket. So
that's a perfect bet. Gets it out of the way.
Yeah, you don't
very
have to
quickly.
sweat that one out.
Yeah.
I feel a little Caruso in my gut tonight. So
right, there you
take that.
go.
Do that with what you will.
There you go.
There's sound advice.
That was betting basketball with CHGO Blackhawks.
So download that DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use the code CHGO and bet all of Joey's recommendations, and you'll be able to retire early. New customers get $150 instantly in bonus bets just by betting $5 on any basketball game. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with the code CHGO. The crown is yours. All right, here we go. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In West Virginia, visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net. Please play responsibly. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas, must be 21 or older in most eligible states, but age varies by jurisdiction. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Terms at sportsbook.com. Sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball terms. Whew. That's a lot.
You did it. Hey, did we mention our fourth star of the game?
Oh, we did not. Shame on us. Whoops. Yes, we have our poll
you
going.
can, if you've seen the poll in the chat, you can vote on it. But if you want to know what you're voting on after every game, we nominate our fourth star nominations of the game, and you, our lovely CHGO watchers and listeners, are able to vote on it. So the 3 stars from tonight's game officially, Connor Bedard with 1 goal was the 3rd star of the game. Second star of the game was Gabe Vilardi with 1 assist. And the game's first star of the game was Mark Scheifele of the Winnipeg Jets with a goal. So our 4 stars in tonight's game, I believe we went with Philip Kurashev, Nikita Zaitsev, and the newcomer himself, Mr. Anthony Beauvillier.
Yep, and those quick stat lines there, Zaitsev, we mentioned, had 2 shot attempts, 3 hits, 4 blocks, and 15-25. Kurashev had the assist on the Bedard goal, had a shot, another attempt, dished out 3 hits.
Ew, get physical.
No, that's not right. That's the wrong line. No, he had 2 shots on goal, 5 shot attempts, and 1 hit. Not as red ass as I thought he was.
Not as physical.
And then the new guy, Anthony Beauvillier, he had 2 shots on goal, 8 shot attempts.
Yeah, hey, he was noticeable.
And 1/2 of his faceoffs, 2 of 4.
2 of 4.
Hey, Blackhawks overall, 50%, 25 and 25 at the dot.
It's better than most nights.
Hey, Connor Bedard, 4-4. He had another good. He's been much better at the
dot.
faceoffs.
Yep.
So
yeah, let's get into Beauvillier a little bit. I mean, he jumps into the Blackhawks lineup, top line spot with Bedard and Kurashev, and he's a guy that has put up 20 goals before. He's put up he had 40 points combined or eclipsed 40 points in combined time last season with Winnipeg, or I'm sorry, with Vancouver and the Islanders. So I mean, he's a guy that's coming in, former first round pick. He's had elevated roles before on some contending teams. He's got a little bit of offense to him. He's not a Taylor Hall, but he's kind of taking that place where it's going to be, all right, here's a guy who's going to play in the top 6. He's going to eventually get power play time. He's going to play alongside Bedard, as it looks like right now. He's 26. Expiring contract, like it's definitely a worthwhile roll of the dice on him, and he's coming from a team in Vancouver that needed to alleviate some cap space, and we talked about it early on this season with the Blackhawks and Canucks potentially working out to maybe get a Connor Garland or Brock Besser. Well, go down the ladder; those guys are more important right now to the Canucks, and Beauvillier gives them the relief to get Nikita Zadorov. Hey, run your team how you want. So Beauvillier comes in, and I think he had a really good showing. It's tough for these guys to kind of come in and jump right into a lineup with a brand new team. A lot of guys he's probably never played with before. Even sometimes, these guys play together in summer camps and get on the ice with people close to them in the off seasons. But to come in, introduce yourself to the team on the road. It's a tough situation, but I think he came in. He was, like you said, 8 shot attempts. Like, he was trying to get involved. Yeah,
I mean, that's a good way to make a first impression on your new team. I mean, I've had asked a lot of guys, over my career, either just getting called up or traded or, hey, what's it like, trying to get on a new line or playing for your first game. They almost always answer, listen, when the puck drops, it's a hockey game. I've been playing hockey. Yeah. So, I mean, and again, Luke Richardson is running as about as simple of style of hockey as you possibly can have.
Yeah.
Just get out there and do what you do is probably what he told them. And I look at Beauvillier as kind of like the opportunity Max Domi had here last year. Mm-hmm. Kind of a guy that has shown flashes of being a producer, but just never really can cement a spot on a team. Is he top six? Is he middle six? Is he bottom six? He's top six here.
Yeah.
Top line, top power play right off the bat. So he's a guy that's going to be given a shot to play. Case in point, with Vancouver this year in 22 games, he was averaging 13:39 of ice time. His second lowest of his career. The lowest was his rookie season with the Islanders as a 19-year-old, so understandable. Mm-hmm. He dropped like almost over 3 minutes a night in average ice time from last year to this season.
Yeah.
So 13:39 average, and today he plays almost 17 minutes, including over a minute on the top power play line.
Yeah.
So he's going to get those opportunities. Hey, you give me 8 shot attempts a night, you're going to put up some points.
Yeah.
A very effective player, at least for one game. It's unknown if he's going to be able to play tomorrow because of the whole work visa stuff.
Yeah.
And I know people ask, we've had at least one person in the chat always asked to explain it. I can't. I don't understand it. I'm in the dark too.
So from what I understand is that the NHL, so with work visas between Canada and the US, it has to be sponsored, right? The NHL doesn't sponsor the employment because it's with the individual team. So I think they have to go through the process of the Blackhawks filing the sponsorship of the employment for him to come into the U.S. and be employed by the Blackhawks. So, again, you'd think there'd be some sort of like, hey, we're an organization that has locations in Canada and the U.S., and we have our employees sometimes switching between offices in the U.S. and Canada quite often. Could we get an expedited process for this? You'd think that would be possible. Again, we're talking about the NHL, and we're also talking about governments. So it's anything can be a problem.
Yes, not very efficiently run organizations on either half.
So I think I would hope that now, since there's been some time that has passed since that trade, like there's been hopefully enough time for paperwork to be processed and faxed over and all that stuff.
It's been 5 days.
And it'd be nice if he could play tomorrow in Minnesota. But we'll see. I mean, it
would be so weird to have him play, have a nice game. And
he can travel. He can travel with the team.
Yeah, he's got a passport.
But I don't know if he'll be able to be in the lineup. We might not know that tonight. We might figure that out tomorrow by pregame time.
Yeah.
But hopefully he's in the lineup because I think you'd, especially in a back-to-back scenario, you'd love to just build off the momentum of the game he had today and see him and Bedard and Khrushchev build that on-ice chemistry. So it's less of just instinctual play, just playing hockey, but more instinctual play of playing with your line mates. Because Bedard and Khrushchev, they've built some chemistry this year, and it's worked for both of them. It's getting that third guy on that line to be consistent, because it's been Hall, it's been Reichel, it's been Foligno, now Beauvillier. So to have that third guy on that top line be consistent and be tuned in with those two.
Yeah, and today it just seemed that he let Khrushchev and Bedard do their thing, let them skate around, and he just looked for the soft spots in the ice.
Yeah.
Looked for some space and got there. And that's all you really need to do when you're playing with those guys. Like, let them create. There's going to be space on the ice when Connor Bedard is out there.
I mean, look at some of the passes he made in the second and third period with Bedard. I mean, he's got on multiple occasions 2, sometimes 3 guys collapsing on him to try and take his time and space away. And the opportunity he gave, I forget who got the pass. Might have been Khrushchev. The play on the near boards. that, you know, he goes one way, cuts back the other way, cuts back, and then throws a backhand pass across the ice. I mean, that's one of the most special plays that we've seen from him this year, to be able to do that. And that's coming from creating space just because of how, you know, respected his skills are with the puck on his stick. So as his line mates and being out there on the ice with him, you have to be prepared. We talked about that a lot throughout Patrick Kane's career, that when you're on the ice with him and he's got the puck, you have to be ready at all times, because he was able to get it to guys where 99% of the league wouldn't be able to make certain passes. So Bedard's got that ability. So you want to see guys who are playing with him on his line, like Kurashev, like Beauvillier, take advantage of that, because you're going to be open with Bedard on the ice in other situations where you probably wouldn't be open. So take advantage of it.
And then that was the play that he made, that really great pass at the end of the second period that he got sandwiched in between two Jets. In a little pain, but nothing that, you know, right before the intermission, I wasn't too concerned. You know,
you get some time to recover.
But, you know, he skated himself in a position of vulnerability because he was trying to make the play, and it almost worked. I mean, he made a great pass right to the doorstep to just, in typical Blackhawks fashion, the play couldn't be finished.
Couldn't finish it.
Eventually, there's going to be some finishers on a line with Bedard where you tap that in for an easy goal, and you don't have to take that hit after it because you're celebrating a goal.
And I think too, hopefully in the next season, 2 seasons, Bedard will be playing with a guy that'll garner almost as much or as much respect as he does. And he won't be able to teams won't be able to double and triple cover him. They'll have to worry about his other line mates just as much. And then that just opens up the ice even more for more one-on-one battles when you have enough guys with high-end skill playing together.
Well, this sounds like a great segue into Connor's Corner, does it not?
It sure does.
All right.
Joey, you got Connor's Corner ready to go?
Let's get our corner going. Did Steven? Oh, we don't have them. We'll have to do the music.
Doom, 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 doom.
It's my favorite part of the post-game show is the music.
Well, I do what I can.
You did it justice. There's Connor's Corner, the graphic. There it is.
Hey.
All right. We have to enjoy this while we can, because eventually he's not going to be
a child
anymore. We're going to have to find better music. But yeah, Connor's Corner, he had that big goal.
We need some angsty teen rock.
We're going to have to get some T-Swift going for next year.
Sure.
He had the goal, his 11th of the season, 11 goals in 22 games as an 18-year-old. He's on pace for 41, according to my math.
That's pretty good.
That's better than I expected.
Pretty good.
So the 3 shots on goal, another solid game for him. You could tell that his confidence is growing. It's slowing down a bit for him with each and every passing game.
Great.
He's, I think, gotten over his rookie nervousness to, hey, I have to placate the veterans, to where he's now like, screw it, I got to do it myself.
Hall and Perry are gone.
Right.
So
there's not
there's less veterans to worry about.
But even before that, he was starting to be like, I'm going to go on the ice, I'm going to dominate.
Yeah.
He was a little less willing to do that in the first 10 games of the year, where I think he was trying to be, all right, I want to be a team player. He told us many times, I'm not just a shooter. Now he's like, I got to do it myself.
Yeah.
We're back to being the Regina Pats. It's me or nothing.
Well, hey, I mean, I think as he gets more comfortable at the NHL level with the speed of the game, and he gets more comfortable and confident in his role in this team and his individual skills, there's nothing wrong with that. There's no downside to that. But if he's able to get to a point where he's processing the game at the speed that he was in the WHL amongst his peers, when he's processing amongst his peers in the NHL, I mean, that's bad news for 31 other teams, because he's going to be able to make plays that we saw in juniors translate to the NHL, because he has that skill level to be able to do that. And once he's acclimated to the processing speed on the ice, the physical speed on the ice as well, making plays like he did without having to take that hit, like you mentioned a few minutes ago, like that is going to be, a really important spot for him to get to in his career. He might not get to that point as a rookie, it's been great to see over the first 21, 22 games of the season for him to go from the starting point of kind of, getting into the professional game as a rookie to now being like, all right, he's like top dog of the rookies. As he progresses down the line, he's going to be the go-to guy. I mean, from our perspective, he already is. In the locker room, on the ice, I mean, I would like to think he's the go-to guy, but there's still going to be some of that, I'm just 18, I'm just still getting my feet wet in the NHL kind of thing. But when he figures it out completely, I mean, sky's the limit for him. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah. It's the future is definitely bright when it comes to Connor Bedard. Seeing him figure it out so quickly at this level with not a lot of help around him, it gives you even more hope for the future. Like, man, once this guy gets some dynamic players to play with,
legitimate help.
Yeah, it's going to be. And then I'm not dogging Philip Kurashev. He's been really good this year.
No, he's honestly with Kurashev, he's like at the point that at least for me, the way he's been playing this season, I'm kind of like, hey, that's wonderful. That's like pretty much best case scenario that you could have asked for him in this season, given kind of the role that he's been playing. The guy I'm kind of worried about is like Lucas Reichel. Like, what is the next step for him, and when is he going to take it? Because tonight, like,
we're a quarter of the way through the season, we really haven't seen anything.
There's been like 3 games that he's been like a factor in, and I don't know. You don't send him down, but you don't send him down. You can't play him down the lineup because he's not going to be as effective. But he's not being effective right now. You
just got to ride him out this season and hope
he's not a center.
No.
And now he's not playing on the top line with Bedard. Like, I'm starting to get worried about, like, where does he go? How does he figure it out?
You just got to keep playing him, I guess. I mean, this is, again, like we said, all off season. This is the season to figure out what you have, and it has not been encouraging, but there's 60 games left to where
I agree.
Could show that he could have this real tough start to the season, but then somehow pull it together and still put up some decent numbers by the end, or just be playing at a high level the last 40, 30 games of the season and carry that over, then you're like, okay, that doesn't seem so bad. But like you look at, he's not the first young player to go through all of a sudden struggle. I mean,
right?
Look what Trevor Zegras is going through in Anaheim. I know he hasn't been in the lineup a lot lately. He's only played 12 games, but he's only got 1 goal and 1 assist in his 12 games, and that's a guy that had back-to-back 60-point seasons. So some guys just, But to your point, it's not just the lack of production with Reichel. It's the lack of like being noticed on a regular basis. Yeah. Like, I didn't know he played today.
Yeah, and I know he's made some improvements in his game defensively, and that's good as a young player. But that's not his bread and butter. Like, his bread and butter is being an offensive creator with the puck on his stick, and we just haven't seen that.
No.
And so, like, sure, if he, turns into a Marcus Kruger, Michael Frolik style of player, that's not what you really spend your 17th overall pick on.
Right. Well, as our guy Windy City Hockey points out, Reichel was drafted by the previous regime and not a Kyle Davidson guy. And Kyle Davidson has been quick to say, well, I didn't draft you.
Yeah.
You're not, so I'm not saying, he's getting traded, but he is coming up to the end of his RFA deal here, and I'm not ready to say
You'll cut ties with him.
No, but you are definitely. He is making his next bridge deal a hell of a lot more affordable for the Hawks, because you could be like, hey, we'll give you 2 more years at whatever, $2 million.
Yeah, whatever Kurashev got, it's probably going to be in that range or less.
I'd give him less at this point, but again, 60 games to go. Yeah. Long way to go. I think he's the type of guy that still hasn't scored a 5-on-5 goal this year. I think he gets one of those. He's shown in the past with that stint last year that he's a guy that can get hot and have, 6 points in 7 or 8 games. So we'll see what happens. But yes, it is a concern at this point. Yeah. It's a quarter of a way through the season, and we still haven't seen that dynamic Lukas Reichel that we saw for that stretch at the end of last season. Yeah. That's the most disappointing part, is we had such high hopes for him, and he hasn't hit that gear yet.
What would make me more nervous about Reichel would be if he was having the struggles that he's been having and not taking that next step in the development path this season, and the Blackhawks didn't have Oliver Moore and Frank Nazar and these guys in the prospect system and Colton Dye, if they didn't have those guys come also in the stockpile, that would be even more concerning.
The years past, we're like, man, if Ryan Hartman or Mark McNeil doesn't hit, we're screwed. That's the only guy we have.
Yeah.
No, it's if Reichel turns out that he's not a guy and you move on from him, you have more guys coming that can then take that role you envisioned for him.
Yeah.
Let's pay off some more bills here. We can then hit our segments. We have some people making comments on the Notre Dame Michigan game that Jay and I were last night. We can give you some teasers on that as well. And then wrap it up.
Yeah, hey, you like beer? Then you should enjoy yourself a Goose Island beer, because Goose Island is the proud beer sponsor of us here at CHGO, and they have been Chicago's beer since 1988. And around the holiday season, it's nice to crack open a cold one around a warm fire. And you can enjoy any of the great Goose Island beers that they offer year-round, including the full pocket pills, the everyday beer that the Goose Island beer brewers are drinking, the entire selection of the Beer Hug IPA family, and, of course, the 312 wheat ales, the golden cans, the staple of Goose Island's year-round roster, and they have great seasonals as well. It is holiday season coming up. They have their Christmas IPA available. And if you like to pair your beer with your favorite winter sports team, Goose Island has what you're looking for in the Blackhawks Pale Ale and the Bull and Goose, the West Side Ale celebrating the Chicago Bulls. You can grab all of these beers and more. You can get ultra-fresh brewery exclusives when you go to the Goose Island Original Brewhouse on Clybourne Avenue in Lincoln Park, or you can go to their tap room on Fulton Street here in Westtown. Again, that is the Goose Island Beer Company, Chicago's beer.
Hey, and if you got a football fan that likes Goose Island beer, why don't you grab them a Varsity cooler and they can fill it up with a whole bunch of Goose Island beer and keep it nice and cold. It's the perfect bag for game day. Varsity coolers will have you set game day and beyond with the best portable cooler and weekender duffel around. It's not just a cooler. It has many other purposes, but these are really cool. NFL teams, they got the team colors on the exterior, a map of the city on the bottom of the bag. The banner has city landmarks, so the Chicago skyline is featured. It's over there. You've probably seen it featured on our CHGO Bears show quite a bit. Mario's bringing it for you. There you go. So you got the city skyline on there. The bottom will have the map. You got some retired numbers on there as well. The liner of the bag includes the food scene of the city. So there's probably some hot dogs and pizza in there, I imagine. Look at that. That's a beautiful. Look at that. You got some Chicago dogs and some pizza. I mean, that is a beautiful freaking bag right there. They doubles as a cooler, waterproof and double insulated, and a travel duffel bag. It fits in a golf cart. You could use it as carry-on luggage. It's the perfect Christmas, Hanukkah, or holiday gift. They have 21 teams represented, so they're perfect for any football fan in your life. Built to show up in style to a party or repping around town. You can actually use it, wipe down the inside, and use it as your gym bag. Maybe if you're going to go pay a visit to our friends at Midtown, you can take it there. So head over to varsitycoolers.us and use the promo code CHGO at checkout, and you're going to get 10% off. You should buy some you got a football fan in your life. Get them one of those. They need to come out with an NHL line, and I'll grab some. We should. They sold me on the hot dogs and pizza. On the inside alone. That alone makes me want to buy one.
That is a quality bag. That's the first time I've picked one up since they've been in the office. They are It's a nice quality. Very insulated, thick. You know you're going to keep the stuff cold in there.
Yeah. Pair that up with a beef sleeve, and you'll have the perfect,
Yes.
the perfect golf game around next summer.
Yes, the beef sleeve, of course. Should we declare our 4th star winner?
Why not? We can do 4-star. Well, I'll chat a little bit about Notre Dame, Michigan, and then
you and Jay made the trip.
We'll wrap up our.
We also have to pay off.
Who's Your Hawk?
Who's Your Hawk as well.
We'll mention our friends at Midtown again, and then we can call it a day. So
sounds good.
Joey, who is our 4th star of the night?
The chat's 4th star. Oh, I think I did it wrong. Here we go. All right, here we go.
Oh, man.
I don't know if this is old or what.
That's a season debut for this. I love it.
But here we go. The chat's 4th star is Kurashev.
There you go.
Kurashev for his assist. Had a couple of shots on the game. Just.
What was the percentage on the old poll there?
Let's see.
Is
Last
it
I
a
checked,
overwhelming
it
It
majority?
was pretty close. No, 39%
39?
Kurashev.
Yeah.
35 for Beauvillier and 27 for Nikita Zaitsev.
That's
So
a pretty
even.
That's a pretty good vote.
I voted for Nikita Zaitsev just because, in the spirit of the 4th star, kind of like an unsung guy that you didn't expect much from, and I don't think anybody expected anything from Nikita Zaitsev, and he played good.
He had a 100% save percentage.
But I'm a big fan of Philip Kurashev too. So
they're
nicely done.
Not a bad pick.
Philip Kurashev. All right,
job,
Jay and I took a little trip to Notre Dame last night, South Bend, and we saw Notre Dame versus Michigan, the rivalry on ice. Frank Nazar playing for Michigan, Landon Slaggert, team captain for Notre Dame. Wasn't much of a game on the ice. Notre Dame stuck it to Michigan. They dominated that game. Landon Slaggert scored twice, including the first goal of the night. He had a really good game. Frank Nazar, tough game for Frank Nazar. He was a -5. He was on the ice for 5 of the 6 goals against. No shots on goal.
That's rough.
But he was really good at the faceoff dot. I think at one point he had won 8 of 11 faceoffs.
Oh, that's pretty good.
He made a couple of really nice passes where you were just like, okay, that's what we're here for.
In those kinds of games, you need to see that.
Here's the thing. Nazar was not effective and wasn't very noticeable because Michigan never had the puck. It's hard to be a dynamic offensive player without the puck. That's what experts have told me.
Usually it's hard to do that, yeah.
So, listen, he fits right in with the Blackhawks already. Go out there and never have the puck. And I believe someone in our chat said that Nazar has already scored tonight.
The good thing about, a 6-1 loss on the first game of back-to-backs is that you get right back out there. First goal of the game tonight between Michigan and Notre Dame goes to Frank Nazar.
Well, it's because he talked to Jay and I after the game.
Yeah.
We interviewed both Frank Nazar and Landon Slaggert, and those interviews will be coming up this week on the show, probably Wednesday. That's our next non-post-game show, so we may have to wait. Yeah. But it's not very time-sensitive, so good stuff from both of them.
Good to chat with those guys.
Both good kids. Had a lot to say about their relationship with the Blackhawks and how often they're in communication and how their season's going. Both guys kind of playing at full strength for the first time in a while. Slaggert was pinned down with multiple injuries. That's why we couldn't talk to him when we were there last year.
Yeah, we made the trip for this exact game last year.
Yep, and Nazar was hurt and not there.
Nazar was hurt.
They wouldn't let us talk to Fantilli.
We couldn't talk.
Slaggert got hurt the game before, so we were left with Ryder Rolston. And it turned out he was a great interview, and he's killing it with the Ice Hogs right now.
He scored last night.
Yes, he did. So it was the 400th career win for Notre Dame head coach Jackson. Can't remember his first name right now, but they had a
Jackson.
Mr. Jackson, Coach Jackson had his
Coach
400th win with the program. They had a cool video thing after the game. The team stayed on the ice.
I thought Slaggert's dad was the head coach.
He's the assistant.
Okay.
Associate coach.
Oh, so he's like co-manager.
Yeah, he's there because he is like
He's a lifer.
He's an ultimate recruiter. I was reading up on him.
Well, when you recruit all your sons.
Well, he's also recruited, though. He's recruited 14 players at Notre Dame who've gone on to play in the NHL.
That's pretty good.
So that's how you keep a job. Dennis Gilbert.
It's a good track record.
Anders Bjork.
Probably Vinny
Hinostroza. Yeah. Basically anybody the Blackhawks have drafted.
Anders Lee, probably?
I believe he was on that list. Yeah. So, but it was a cool, after the game, the Notre Dame players stayed on the ice. They had a video tribute to the Coach Jackson for his 400th win. and they did video messages with a lot of former players,
Oh, cool.
including both Anders Bjork and Ryder Rolston. Made a
nice.
brief appearance. So it was pretty cool. They had a little celebration for him after the game.
That's fun.
We talked to Frank Nazar. He obviously was a little disappointed, but by the end of the interview, he kind of lightened up. You know, it's like you got to play we lost. I'm sad, but by the end of the interview, we got some good stuff with him. Appreciate the University of Michigan for giving us the time with him, and then Landon Slaggert was really good to chat with too. So those interviews will be coming up at some point this week.
Slaggert, 2 goals,
12 on the season,
ties his NCAA career high in a fraction of the games.
Yes, he had 12 in his sophomore season in 40 games. He's now got 12 in 15 to start the season. So, but he's fully healthy. And he looked like a man against boys yesterday. He's exactly what the Hawks need. A guy that gets to the dirty area of the ice, skates hard to the net, gets physical. Definitely could be a guy that could be a fourth line guy that might contribute every once in a while.
He reminds me a lot of the raw talent, raw skills of Brandon Hagel when he joined the organization a number of years ago. And it's not just because they grew full beards at the age of 20. I like Slaggert's motor. I like his drive on the forecheck. He's got some scoring touch. I know he's unsigned right now, 4th year in college, gives you a little bit of the nerves, but
he certainly made it sound like him and Eric Condra, another Notre Dame alum who works for the Hawks development, constant contact. It definitely appears that he's still in the Blackhawks.
Yeah, I have confidence that he will eventually join the organization whenever Notre Dame's season ends this season.
He has a game style much like Colton Dock and Ryder Rolston that I think is going to translate well to the AHL.
Yeah, and then you go from there and see how you develop. So I like when we have opportunities to do stuff like that.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I wish there were more college games in the area to go to. The atmosphere at Notre Dame is great. I recommend going to a game, whether you're a fan of who's ever playing or not. Real small rink. You're right on top of the action. They got
Compton Ice Arena is a nice facility.
They got the band playing. They got the student section chanting all night.
I love college hockey.
And here's the best part. Puck drop was at 7:35.
Local time.
7:35 puck drop. And the game was over at like 9:28. Like it was less than 2 hours, start to finish. So
nice.
You got no TV timeouts.
Get in, get out, enjoy your Friday night.
It was a good time. So be on the lookout for those Ralston and
Slaggert.
That's what I meant. Slaggert and Nazar interviews. We'll get those out to you. Good stuff from both players.
Good stuff. Hey, you know what else is good stuff? The Midtown Athletic Club.
They do have good stuff.
They got so much good stuff that I can't tell you all about it because I'll get side eyes from people on set.
Because the Bulls game would be over by the time you finish.
But what I can tell you about the Midtown Athletic Club is they have 4 locations in the Chicagoland area in Palatine, Bannockburn, Willowbrook, and their HQ flagship location, the Midtown Athletic Club and Hotel in the middle of Bucktown and Lincoln Park. And they have a ton of options for people looking to go down their physical and or mental health journeys. They have membership options for single individuals, for families with kids, people looking to make lifestyle changes, holistic wellness, all of the things that you want to do to better yourself. Midtown Athletic Club has the options to do it. They have spas, saunas, hair salon, nail salon, on top of having a state-of-the-art athletic training facilities. They got, I know in the Bannockburn location, they got like a 25-yard chunk of football field that you can do tons of different workouts in. They got these giant group class theaters and studios, cycling classes, you name it. You name it in the workout and physical and mental health stratosphere, you can do it at the Midtown Athletic Club. Yoga as well is there. Indoor and outdoor pools, indoor and outdoor tennis courts, big basketball courts. I mean, there's a ton of stuff. You can spend your entire day at the Midtown Athletic Club and not even blink your eye at it. So head over to midtown.com/CHGO to find out more and to set up a tour of the Midtown Athletic Club location nearest to you. I know the holidays are a big time for thinking about your wellness, mental and physical health. Midtown Athletic Club can help you out.
Yep, those seem.
See how short that was?
That
was great.
Nailed it.
I didn't ramble.
That was nailed that one. It's a tough read. That read is as strenuous as almost any one of their workouts.
It's a workout in and of itself. It's a
mental
workout.
Mental and physical health, they go hand in hand.
They sure do.
You usually can't have one without the other.
It's true.
But thinking about mental health, my mental health is getting a lot better because I am no longer in last place for Who's Your Hawk. It's a winning streak.
You're tied for second place?
I'm tied for second place. No longer in last place. We decided last game that if we have to go to the tiebreaker because nobody has any points, and that was the case today with Mario having Jason Dickinson. I went with Anthony Beauvillier. Nobody had any points, so we decided let's go use our friends at HockeyStatCard.com. They send out the game score right after every game.
Lines.
And whoever had the higher game score, instead of trying to figure out who had more shots, block shot, all that convoluted nonsense, we'll just let HockeyStat.com.
And they do the work for us.
Do the work, exactly. And this is the second straight game that HockeyStat.com declares me the winner. Anthony Beauvillier had a game score of a .46. Jason Dickinson minus 1.37 was actually the lowest game score of anyone on the ice. Not a great game.
Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose.
He's been so good. He needs it to be November again. Apparently, that's his month.
November Dickinson is the best Dickinson, apparently. So, congratulations to Greg. He's on what they call a winning streak.
That's a heater.
He now has 6 wins on the season. Jay was idle today. He has 6 wins on the season as well. I'm still in the lead with 10 wins, but
this thing's cold.
Good picking. Where was it? It was outside?
It feels like it. It's cold helmet.
It'll chill you down.
I will gladly take it, though. It's 2 in a row, back in the game. Jay and I still have a lot of work to do to catch you, but we need to. I think if you get a much bigger lead, you win the next 2 or 3 here. Jay and I just have to combine, and it has to
combine forces.
Be all right, it's now 2 against 1.
Joint.
Because you're gonna run away with it. Because we're gonna start beating each other, and you're just gonna win. No one's gonna catch you.
Offsetting wins. Yeah, that could happen. Yeah.
Yeah, we may have to.
And I was driving in, and I was like, all right, who am I gonna take for Who's Your Hawk? And a Galaxy brained it. I was like, well, Jay's not here. Greg won last time. I have first pick. Why not take Bedard? And I was like, we got to keep it fresh. We can't just pick Bedard and Kurashev.
But it seems like every time we pick him, he doesn't score. And when we don't pick him, he has his big game. So we're not picking him for the benefit of the team.
It's really a
team player.
It's really a sacrifice that we should be commended for.
I'm sacrificing wearing this ridiculous helmet on camera so Connor Bedard can win a Calder trophy.
It's very big of us. We should deserve more credit than we're getting.
We do.
Yeah.
We do, Cody.
Yeah.
All right, that is going to wrap up.
We'll be back here very shortly.
Yeah, we will see you guys in 17 hours or whatever it is. We are back here tomorrow, a 12:30 pregame show ahead of Wild Blackhawks at 1, and then we'll be back just like today, right after the game. Hoping Jay will be back tomorrow. I think that's the game plan, but we'll see how that works out. If not, we got you covered. Make sure you're smashing that like button on the way out. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on all the social media platforms. Leave us 5-star reviews and subscribe wherever you're listening to. And you know what? It's the holiday season. Just be nice to one another. That's all I say. Let's be nice to one another, and let's meet back here tomorrow at 12:30.
Did we pay off all of our super chats?
Oh, yeah.
Did we have any come in that we missed?
I think we got them all. Or did we miss?
We got one here from Darren. $10 says
we're worse than last year.
Yeah.
You want to read it?
Go ahead, Joey. You're already
worse
there.
than last year. Seems like guys were unloaded at the trading deadline. Seems like guys we unloaded at the trading deadline last year, like Domi, were important grit guys.
But that was the plan all along.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Max Domi playing as well as he did for us got us a better return.
Yeah.
That was the plan.
And then Gaming for Veterans says, who will win 2 consecutive games first, Bulls or Hawks?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Well, the Bulls have an opportunity tonight, right? They won their last game.
Yeah, Bulls
I wouldn't count on it, but we'll see.
Hey,
of those two teams, the Bulls have the best opportunity to do it right now.
Yes, they have the chance to do it first, considering they won their last game, and the Hawks are on a 2-game losing streak. So the odds are in the Bulls' favor, but I don't know. Maybe neither team does it all season.
Maybe it's the Cubs. Who knows?
It's gonna, it'll be the Cubs winning first 2 games of the season.
I mean, it's probably happened in the history of the NHL. But has there ever been a team that did not win consecutive games in a season?
I can look that up. We can talk about that tomorrow.
I feel like that's probably happened in the history of the league.
Maybe in
100 plus years.
Maybe in those early seasons when you had like the Pittsburgh Pirates, who are just a craptacular team, or the Detroit Falcons.
Sure, yeah.
Maybe, but in the modern day, like in the expansion era, I can't believe nobody's gone without winning back-to-back games.
We'll
I'd have to look at that really bad Capitals first year was one of those,
or maybe the Thrashers their first year.
Maybe, yeah. We'll have to we'll look that up, and we'll
report
keep
back.
the tracker.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you guys tomorrow, 12:30 pregame. Thanks to Joey for running the board today. Now he's got poor guy had to watch the Blackhawks and the Bulls on the same day. We are not paying this kid enough money. But we'll be back tomorrow, 12:30 pregame. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you then.